Hey guys, Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com, and today I am here with Nehal, who used to work with the Pixel Track team as a content marketer. And today we are
Hi.
just going to have a general conversation about creativity and other things in general. So, hey Nehal,
Hi, Deepak.
how are you doing? How is the lockdown treating you?
It's same everywhere. I'm telling you, I'm dying to go out. Like I'm a socially not very extrovert. I'm extrovert, but I'm not really outgoing. But then I want to stay at home, but I also want other people to go out of the house so that I can stay at home
Okay.
alone. So yeah, I'm waiting for lockdown to just be open and so that people can move out and I can stay alone. Yeah.
So you staying at home is not a problem. Other people staying at home is the problem.
Yeah, at least now I'm with my family, so my family is like really humorous. They are like full package of entertainment, so I'm not at least getting bored. Have I been stayed in Bangalore? Like if I was there in Bangalore, I've heard my friends saying how bad the situation is there. They're not getting food. Like a guy has not eaten a vegetable in a week. He's like, I'm not getting a vegetable around my house for a week. I'm like, dude, that is seriously very off. I cannot live like that. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, on that front, at least I'm at a better place, much better place.
Yeah. So even I decided to come back home, and I'm at Salem right now. And fortunately, now I think good internet connection is not restricted to tier one cities. So,
Oh yeah, true.
like right now, we are able to have a video conference, and these are the times the internet was built for. That's what it feels like.
I know, I know.
And
I just want to tell your viewers, guys, Deepak is not in the same situation like us. He's like chilling. He's like having a proper time in his farmhouse come house. I don't know what you call that. He has a great garden. He has a swimming pool there. Not like us, not stuck in a 3 BHK apartment and can't step out even from the front door. So yeah, let's
so
start from there.
So I used to be complaining a lot, like 10 years back
Yeah.
when I was in college, that my parents did not build a house in the city because I was not able to visit my friends, and for everything, like the nearest shopping place is like 2 kilometers away. The house is there in a highway in the middle of a farm. So I used to be like
Yeah.
complaining about it a lot, but now my mom and dad are asking, hey, how about building a house in the city?
Oh
Like,
God.
oh, I want this, I love this farmhouse. And no, at that time there was
You live you live
no
in
internet
country
connection.
life, to be honest.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
country
proper
life.
proper country life. And at that time the
Yeah.
internet was not that great, and even when we had 2 mbps connections starting to come in the city, we still had the bsnl 256 kbps connection. So that's where my career also started. I sit here and get all the things done, but
Yes.
at that time there was no possibility of videos like this. Forget live video, live conversations. It was just uh,
Yeah.
so that's where I started building the bike advice blog, and that's where the career started. So I think right now, with this whole lockdown situation, so for 1 month I have not stepped out of this compound, but fortunately it's a 20,000 square feet compound with garden, and there is a
See?
dog.
See?
And the swimming pool is not like a fancy swimming pool or anything. It's just it used to be a tank,
Oh God. You
and
have a swimming pool.
and,
You
and
have a tank, it has water. That's it.
and it has water, and we put tiles in it. And the good part about it is that there is no circulation system or anything like that. And like a typical
Yeah.
swimming pool, we don't recirculate the same water. So there is a farm, right? And
Yeah.
the person who is doing the farming has to let the water out for the farm anyway. So instead of letting out to the farm directly from the well, it comes and stays in the swimming pool for like a few days, and then it is let out. So every 2 3 days,
Wow, that's
I'm getting
nice.
like fresh water. So no chlorine, nothing. No other people going into the pool,
Yeah.
probably peeing inside the pool. All that problem is done.
Oh God. But good to know that you're not actually wasting it. That is seen with a lot of people. It's actually being put to some use, especially something as good as farming. So yeah, good to know that. I was concerned about it. I wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah,
ask
yeah.
you
The water is not
what
being
you're doing with
wasted.
the
It's
water.
going to the farm.
Yeah.
And probably, I think in the near future, if this lockdown continues, I think we will also start growing vegetables in the farm and just be self-sustainable.
Yes, of course. If you have this opportunity, please have an organic garden for yourself. Like, just grow your food. I think one thing that I want to teach people is like, grow your food, know how things work, know how farming works. Like, at least everybody should know, and do like some small its and bits here, I feel.
Yeah.
So yes.
I think we all have been too dependent on maids and servants, and we have also not treated them that great. And anything that is not there is when you realize their value, right? So now I'm like
Yeah,
thinking about
true.
all the maids, servants, cooks that used to help me. You know, uh, it's not like they are just doing their job. It's actually something that we have to be thankful for, that somebody was helping us while we could focus on other things like getting things done with business and everything. And without
Yeah.
them, life is a little bit difficult. But at the same time, it's not like that bad, in the sense you can eventually get around to learning cooking and doing dishes and cleaning the house, cleaning the toilets and everything. I think it is making people realize how much we take things for granted in the outside
Yeah,
world,
totally.
and what it means to be self-sustainable. And end of the day, this rapid urbanization and all this speed, like traffic, conference karo,
I know.
gather with people, stand in queues, fight, and all this seems very trivial right now. Now it's like, dude, like, life can be pretty sustainable this way also. Like, like earlier we used to
It
think
is.
that
I think it should be. I think.
earlier we
Yeah.
used to think that uh, staying inside the home like this is not an option. We have to go out, we have to be responsible, and we were the ones who were creating traffic, pollution, all that thing. But now we take a step back, we relax, we just do it because we are bored, man. Half the things we do outside in the real world, we just do it
I
because we are
know.
bored, right?
I know. Because I think one thing that I've realized is hyper consumerism. Like, we are consuming more than what we need. And once this lockdown has been there into effect, I've realized I can sustain in such small amount of things. Like, I do not need new clothes every month. I do not need to order every now and then from Swiggy or Zomato and create a lot of plastic, like the containers and all, which they use for the delivery,
Yeah.
and so many other things. Like, and also, like, we all always revered people like who are big shot entrepreneurs, or who are like having a high stake in the society. But then now I realize who are my real heroes. Like, the person who is actually coming every day to take out my garbage, the person who is delivering the orders from the truck, and the people who are working in nurses, like in the hospitals. And it's so sad. Like, we say, oh, these doctors and these nurses are heroes. They don't want to be called heroes. Like, first go there and ask them, do they want themselves to be called hero? Like, give them money, give them the due respect that they have always awaited for, right? And maybe they are getting martyred. Like, they're not heroes, and they're not even doing it because you're making them into like an Avenger or like a superwoman or Superman. They're doing it because it's their duty, and you clapping for them, and you're just saying, wah wah wah, kya kar rahe hai ye log. Like, this is not how it should be paid, right? You should do something for them actually. And then once the lockdown is over, you shouldn't forget these times. If this lockdown is not making you humble enough, it's not making you ecologically conscious, I think you've not learned anything from this lockdown. Like, okay, one thing ki ye skill learn karo, cooking seekho, write more, this and all is a side thing that is like an extra that you would do in your life to define yourself. But the thing that actually, is in the basic, like everybody should realize it, is one, ecological consciousness. Are you consuming how much is needed? Is earth able to replenish it? Like, we see that our rivers are getting cleaned, from Jalandhar, Himalayas are like visible, and all of this we are learning. But what about 3rd May, once everything would go back to how it was? The air will again get polluted, the rivers would again have that black, dirty, toxic water, right? So I don't know when would we actually start thinking about these things. I think corona was just a warning from nature. You know what? I am much, much, much stronger than you guys are. You try to screw me, I'll get back stronger, and I will leave no trace of human civilization. I did it to dinosaurs. You are my next, victims. So I think people should realize that it's high time. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that is my views.
And one very interesting point that you brought up,
Yeah,
which I will talk about before coming back into the ecological thing that you talked about, is that
yeah,
I feel that when we do this, when we say that, okay, all the garbage collectors, cleaners, public workers, and nurses and doctors are heroes, we also feel like we do feel a sense of guilt that we are not actually contributing to the betterment
yeah,
of the world right now. We are just sitting at home. But at the same time, instead of actually doing something to help them, like, uh, like,
yeah,
has anybody just gone to a hospital and said that, hey, do you need any help around? I'm ready to do it. Or has anybody
yeah,
found out where to uh, source some masks and other medical equipment and actually donate it to hospitals? Like, most of us, including us, are not doing any of
yes,
this. And on some level, when we go and just
true.
celebrate all these people, we feel that we are doing something for them, where it's actually not doing anything. Like, they don't want to, as you said,
Yeah,
they don't want to
exactly.
be treated as heroes, or put on social media. Maybe
No.
it's actually on some level, I might even say that, dude, we are here, possibly having a risk of getting corona, and we are putting our family at risk also, at possibility of putting corona
Yeah,
getting corona for them. And you are just calling us heroes, and you are just celebrating. I think it will irritate them more than actually making them feel good, because we are, we
yes.
are just we are just saying, hey, very good, very good,
No,
good
imagine
job.
Deepak, you're selling a course, you're teaching digital marketing, and students come and like, wow, wow, Deepak sir, wow, doing great job. And you're like, wow, I am enough. This is enough for me. Are you need money, you need something more than that, right? You need to sustain yourself. Nobody
Yes.
I cannot do a job for somebody, I cannot write an article for somebody, and he's like, wow, Nehal, kya likha hai? Kitna acha likhti ho tum, hero ho tum to. And like,
Yeah.
this doesn't work in real world, right? Like, you're only appreciating just to abate your own guilt of
Yes.
not contributing anything to the society. I feel people can differ. We don't have to fight on this. I am actually, this is a disclaimer. I can maybe
Yeah,
add
yeah,
it
yeah.
like a
This is totally
subtitle.
our perspective.
Yeah, it's totally our perspective. You can differ, and we totally respect that.
Yeah.
But Deepak, on the side note, I am actually doing something. I am involved with my friends who are working in IIT Kanpur. They have a startup in IIT Kanpur. So we are making an app called Corona 360. And so what we are trying to do is we are trying to track people who are corona patients and who are not. We are gonna have that daily attendance of people, because we saw Arogya Setu, and no offense to anybody, that app is not up to the mark.
Yeah.
And we've been working on it since like March 25th. So we have actually collaborated with IIT Kanpur professors also, and because they're working on other solutions, so we've decided to collaborate with them and bring out one solution so that we can reach out to the district magistrate of Kanpur, and then just go forward from there, reach the CM, and then maybe implement, because corona won't be over on 3rd May. Like,
Yeah.
cities like Wuhan and countries like Italy and Spain are anyway struggling so much. It's been months of lockdown there. So
Mm-hmm.
let's see how it goes. I will keep you updated about it.
Very interesting. And I would
Yes.
like to do a shout out if when the app comes out.
Sure, sure, sure.
Mm. So
Thank
the next point, coming to the whole ecological thing. So one thing I was always afraid of is that the whole climate change, and that is something that nobody takes it seriously. And there is always a short-term cost for long-term benefit, and nobody has, uh, everybody is going beyond this economic growth, both democracies and authoritarian governments. And
Yeah.
and it's very difficult to it more becomes like path dependence, where you have always been in a certain path, and it is difficult to change that path unless something like this happens. And this whole situation has proved that, yes, you can reduce pollution, yes, you can stop polluting the environment, you can reduce plastics, you can stop the dependence, but we are forced to do it because we are afraid to go out, we might get corona. And there is a proper reason when the government says that do this,
Yeah.
then we have the ability to accept it. Okay, fair enough, because we are selfish. Like, we don't want to end up getting corona, we don't want every streets to be filled up with possible infections. But at the same time, if a government comes out and says that, hey, let's reduce pollution and let's do this, then obviously people are going to go out and protest on the streets, right? It's a very,
Yeah.
very delicate thing that has to be managed. And I think that unless something like this hit us, we would have never, right now, as you still said, there is a very high chance that we will just end up going back to our old ways of living and still put the planet at risk.
Yeah.
But at least it gives a small hope that there is a chance that we might be able to get into a more sustainable living condition. And in case if this whole corona did not happen, everybody is going to continue with their same way of life. And
True.
considering that electric vehicles are now a reality and a lot of countries
Yeah.
having electric vehicles, a large country like India still has not put their foot down and said that, hey, I'm going to tax all the cars that are like gasoline vehicles at 30%, and you have to
Yeah.
pay road tax of 30%, and if you buy an electric vehicle it's going to be like 5%. It's actually possible to get like 50% of the vehicles on road to be electric, but nobody does that because there are so many interrelated complex issues there. Like for
True.
example,
True.
the biggest automobile manufacturers, then they have thousands and thousands of employees, and suddenly when you say something like, okay, I'm going to give a boost to electric vehicles, then people would say that, okay, you are colluding with an electric vehicle manufacturer and taking bribes from them. And they will say that, see, all these automobile workers are losing jobs, and because of this, see, now there is no one to blame, nature is to
Yeah.
blame, right?
Of
everybody
course.
is like everybody is facing the same economic bite, but nobody can complain because yes, everybody is losing jobs. Yes, restaurants are going down, public things, places like theaters and sports events are going down, but nobody is to blame because nobody took this decision for the betterment of the nature and the world. And they said that we have like 12 more years before we do massive behavioral change, before
Hmm.
like you set on like a cascade of climatic events that cannot be reversed at all. And one thing that is happening is that with the Arctic ice caps and everything,
Yeah. It's so
uh,
bad.
the rate of acceleration of melting is increasing because the ice caps reflect a lot of sunlight. And when,
Hmm.
let's say, 10% of the ice caps melt and become water, then you lose 10% capacity in reflecting the light back, which means that the rate of heating is going up. And suddenly if both the caps melt, then
Hmm.
the amount of damage that it would cost, especially to coastal cities, where all coastal cities can get submerged, and that might cause deaths in probably like 1,000 times or 10,000 times more than
Yeah. I
what
think
corona is doing
countries
right
like
now.
Maldives would just go out of existence if
Yeah,
something like that happens.
yeah, and all the coastal cities, uh,
Yeah.
they have their best properties on the most high-rise properties just near the beach, right?
I know, I know. I
Like,
always think about it. Like people spend crores to find a bungalow or find a sea face, like flats and everything.
yeah,
But dude, you're
like
stupid. I feel you're stupid if
like
you're
I know
doing
that
it.
like the 10th floor or the 20th floor will not get submerged, but you still have to get inside the building from the ground floor.
I know.
and, and they are not going to build a flyover, just so that you can get in, and you can't like go inside your building in a boat or something like that. So I think uh, uh, right now there is also a huge shift towards okay, fine, it is time to start taking religion less seriously and science more seriously, right? Because one common
If
enemy.
it's no, if it's about me, I'll remove every religion except. But it's necessary also. Like I think Winston Churchill or somebody said that religion is necessary. Otherwise, like my servant or the person who works with me would kill me and take all my money. So religion instills that fears in people because a lot of people in this world do good or do not do anything bad because they have this fear of God. All right, but I feel there's so much friction because of this religion. I think it's the religion should be used as an instrument to control people in a positive way, but this is not happening. And I don't know what is happening in India. Like we were thinking 2020 superpower. What the fuck? Sorry, like screw it. But
It's okay.
this is not gonna happen if the things are gonna go like this. It's like it's hyper nationalism, and I don't know what all. I don't want to get into all political because then I won't stop. So, but yeah, this is something that
I mean,
should
like,
be
there are
stopped.
positive things happening, but there are negative things happening as well. One negative thing that is happening is that people are closing doors to each other. Like, there is
Yeah, yeah,
xenophobia, and already when people are saying, like, Chinese virus, Wuhan virus, and that is going to change perspective for a common person to look at a Chinese person and have some negative feelings towards it. So
I
people are
know.
becoming like more closed. People are not letting other people into the nation. People are not letting people out. So there is a negative thing in it, but at the same time, I think the positive thing out of this is that uh, your god or my god is not going to save me if I get corona, like in a
Temples are closed, Deepak. Temples are
yes.
closed. Hospitals are open. So do not give donations to temples. Go and so-called
Donate to
heroes.
hospitals, yes.
Yeah,
and
give it
and
to them.
tomorrow, if scientists discover a vaccine, they are the true
Yeah,
gods, right? The scientists who are
I
like
know.
working, imagine if all the amount that has been spent on pilgrimages, pilgrimage tours, temples, building
Yeah,
temples, maintaining temples, so much of manpower there, just doing pujas and things like that. Imagine if you collect all this and put it into medical facilities and put it into science and development research on
true.
preventing, and basically making the whole world and the whole nation healthier. Imagine we all would be way better off than the amount of risk that we are facing right now. So I think there is going to be a shift in consciousness, and what we are facing right now is like once in a century event, right? And
Yeah,
we will definitely be telling our grandkids that how was it to live through a pandemic, right?
I
And
know.
it's just going to be a story, and hopefully, I think this is the first time ever where we are able to connect with other people on a very deep level with very deep conversations like this, still staying at our home.
True,
And
true.
imagine that if we had to do it via written letters, we couldn't have had this level of conversation. Imagine,
I have not written you any letter, Deepak. You wouldn't have sent me like
yeah,
anything at all.
like 50 years back, send a letter, it reaches you after like some 1 week, and then you send a letter back. These
That too, it's
conversations.
corona infected. So you're not even opening it.
Yeah, even people are not going to touch letters also, like, what if it is
my
infected?
my neighbor is not picking her newspaper from 20 days. She is
Yeah.
like so paranoid. It's like, no, I will not pick it up. This and that. What
and
to do? I don't know.
and it will not happen in an audio call also. And
Yeah,
having this technology today where the quality of the conversation that we are having is, let's say, 95% as good as me having a conversation in person in front of you, right?
yeah,
So
sure.
I think we are able to also connect with people on a level where we are able to reflect on things. We are able to have deep conversations because and we are able to have deep conversations without intoxicants, right?
Of course. Look at me, like I'm like
Yeah,
hyperactive right now, but still
yeah,
I'm trying to maintain the calm, and just because
yeah.
I'm in front of a camera. But yeah,
So I think this will also, make people just sit and think. And
yeah,
maybe if people who are going to watch this conversation will also sit and think about things like climate change, things we talked about, healthcare workers,
yes,
why Medicare and science is important and all these things. So as long as, I hope that India comes out of the situation and we don't have fatalities like US is having right now. Uh,
I
but
know.
but at the same time, I think this will definitely also have a huge shift of economic powers. Like China is already seeing that, and I feel that if India comes out of this without much of damages, I think we will become more sustainable, and
Hmm.
more technology will be built in house, made by India for India. And
Yeah.
I'm not exactly happy how the administration is doing right now, but at the same time, I also realize that
High five.
I also
Yeah.
realized that it could be much worse. It could be much worse. And
True.
let's see where we go. And I also feel that uh, there is a lot of conspiracy theories going on about China. And
Yeah. Oh my God. Like it's total biofair thing that you know what they only invented the virus, that they only did that. And sometimes it becomes so believable. The people, how they fabricate the whole story. I would say fabricate right now because I do not have any proof for it. But then it's so good. These guys should do it like copywriting or stuff. They're gonna sell a lot. Like the way they fabricate these hoax stories. Oh my
So
god.
in the sense, I think, see, I honestly, like, obviously, I don't know for sure, but I don't think that it is practical to for China to have developed something like a bio warfare weapon or something like that,
Yeah.
because first of all, the amount of risk that is involved in a virus jumping from an animal to a human is actually pretty high, because
Hmm.
apparently there are
Yeah.
3 million different viruses in the animal kingdom that humans don't even know about it yet. And
True.
humans have obviously had eating habits, and sometimes a virus can jump from an animal to a human being. And I feel what happened in probably the virus jumped from a wet market in China into human,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
at the same time, uh, it could have happened in any country at all, because it's not like all the other countries are vegetarians. Like, the whole world eats
I
non-veg,
know.
and
Like here also such racism is going on. China virus, they eat this and that. Because just because you eat egg or chicken or beef, that is okay. If he's eating a bat, then it's wrong. You cannot decide. Like all in all, either leave non-vegetarian like totally, because I don't know, Deepak, if you've read about it or not, but the climate change is also contributed to a massive slaughter of these animals, because animals like if you've read in Sapiens also, animals like cows and goats and hens, they're only red because people eat them. Otherwise, their population wouldn't be so much.
yeah,
So people should realize that
I mean,
as
like,
also.
it's like, for example, there are a lot of people who would cringe because I say that I eat chicken, and a
Yeah,
lot more people would cringe. Like, I don't eat beef, uh,
yeah,
FYI, but if I say I eat beef, a lot more people will cringe. And what if there was a beef market in, let's say, Miami, Florida, uh, and
yeah.
suddenly someone got sick, and then suddenly everybody started getting sick and spread over the whole world. Will you call it like, Miami virus ho gaya? See, this is like a very random event which happened.
Like
And
bird flu happens
yeah,
all the time. It comes
yes,
from chicken only, right? You don't
yes.
stop eating chicken and you don't stop blaming people who eat chicken. That's a hypocrisy there. I'm not saying what China is doing is good. They eat all sorts of animals, and I am totally against it. But then you shouldn't make it a racial what do you call it, mistake, that you know what, this country eats this, then it's wrong. But you are eating chicken and you are also sometimes catching swine flu, or somebody around you is catching some swine flu. Now you're not putting the same narrative there. So that is something that I have a problem with.
Yeah, and also, right, see, first of all, if you are a non-vegetarian, you are a non-vegetarian. You cannot say that
Exactly.
you are eating a certain type of non-vegetarian, so that's not good, which I think China
Yeah.
is getting a lot of blame for, because they are like, you, they eat this, you, they eat that. But there are
I
a lot of
know.
people who would say, you eat chicken. And, I would say, you eat beef. And, like, there are like different preferences across
I
the,
know.
based on cultures and everything. And if you were born in a Chinese family, which, like, you don't have any control over
Yeah.
which family you are born, and you were born in a Chinese family, and as you grew up, let's say your parents and all your relatives and families are eating a certain type of animal or bird, you would end up thinking that it's okay to do that, and you would
Yes.
do that. So first of all, one should not blame China for doing this. I hope it's not something like a conspiracy. The conspiracy is not true, but considering that there is a very highly likely chance that the conspiracy is not true, because see, end of the day, it's all confirmation bias on all the documentary filmmakers, right? uh,
Yeah.
it's very easy to get into that confirmation bias tramlines and just try to convince someone of something. It's very easy, because you remember there were documentaries which said that the whole climate change is a hoax, and there are like proper documentaries which say that,
Yeah. Yes.
the whole solar system heats up and cools down. It's just a part of it.
Yes.
Humans just driving cars cannot possibly go ahead and create change on such a massive scale. And if you watch that documentary, even a person like me, for a moment you are convinced that I think climate change is a hoax. and
I know.
and it's similar, right? If you try to take a bunch of facts and try to stitch it up together in a very convincing way, it will actually feel real. This is just like, you have any pain in your body, you start searching on Google, it will end up being in a cancer, right?
Yeah. WebMD.
Yes.
I
So
know.
so Google search is like the number one real life example of confirmation bias, because
Yes.
let's say I have pain in my left small toe every once in 3 days, because there are 7 billion people on in the world, there might be some person who had like pain in the left toe once in 3 days, and then it ended up becoming some type of cancer, and I would be like, ha, yahi hai, mujhe bhi yahi hai. It's just like,
Yes.
it's just like there are so many people, 7 billion people, and whatever you have can end up becoming something, and if you try to go down in that path, it will feel convincing. So I think all these conspiracy theories and documentaries that is going on saying that China released a bio warfare weapon,
Yeah.
it's just confirmation bias. If you look at it, it will feel like convincing, except there are not people making documentaries saying that this is not a conspiracy, right? Nobody
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
that. That's just a general media. And just
I
because
know.
if somebody goes ahead and like say makes a documentary saying that hey, I don't think this is like a conspiracy and bio warfare, I think this is just like act of God, act of nature, just like a random event, just like several epidemics we had previously in the world,
Yeah.
then people would then point fingers at him like, why are you saying that? It's like going
I
out and saying
know.
that, going out and
China
telling that,
sponsored. You're China
ah,
sponsored.
if bunch of people are saying that I'm a scammer, and if I write a
Yeah.
big article that why I'm not a scammer, then people would be like, dude, I think you are a scammer because you are calling yourself a non-scammer, right?
I know. What's the point of actually proving yourself? Why are you trying to prove?
Yeah. So
Right.
then if you do that, also people will point fingers. So this noise will always go around, and that is like a very interesting times that we live in, because we live in this globalized world where anything that is negative always has a tendency to
Yeah.
spread itself very fast. One thing I did recently, which was like a nice experiment, was I put my website for sale on Flippa, and I put it for.
I saw it on the group yesterday.
You
Yes.
also saw it. It's like
11
I
crores.
I said like, I'm selling it for $1.5 million,
Yeah.
and a bunch of people wrote blog posts about it saying that I think Deepak is retiring. I think Deepak has already made enough money. Now he said he's quitting social media.
Oh
He is
my.
also putting his website for sale. And some people are in the blogging groups are like, Deepak is for sale. Karid lo Deepak. And someone like, how can he put 89 times his revenue has the total valuation?
Yeah.
Dude, like I'm going on the same group and I'm telling people that, dude, I just did it to generate some buzz. I don't have any idea of selling the website.
Oh
But
God.
people always have this thing to dwell on negativity. Recently, if you saw Grant Cardone, he said that he's going bankrupt, and
Yeah.
I think his search volume has like increased so much because everybody is searching Grant Cardone bankruptcy, and he was saying that, hey, I'm selling my private jet, everything is for sale. And while he made the video, he had a smirk on his face. It was very obvious that it's a hoax, but people just went mad, man. Like there is this whole thing about
Oh God.
negativity, which spreads very fast than positive things on the web, right?
Always, like you see a lot of celebrities like Rakhi Sawant. Sorry to use that example, but these guys are alive on negative publicity. People feed on it because it's an
Yes.
easy to consume content, and obviously it's more interesting. And I think it releases more dopamine in people's head when they hear somebody not doing as great because they cannot reach the same way.
See,
I think
I
that's
feel that the amount
yeah,
of things that legal and illegal drugs, do to your
yeah,
brain. I think negative news, like you see people who spend like some 3 hours, 4 hours watching news every day, ye hua, wo hua, and
yeah.
completely messing up their brain with it. I think that's more harmful than some of the much more subtler drugs which are made illegal all over the world. Uh,
Yes.
like that this negativity is like far more damaging to the brain and the society. So there is this thing I heard about long back, that how negative news changes your perception of the world. So let's say there are 1,000 different islands. In all the 1,000 different islands, there are like 10,000 people living in each island. And let's say there is people go fishing out all the time. They go fishing, they do fishing, and let's say for decades nothing happens. And what will happen is that let's say in one island if all the people in the island basically
Yeah.
do their livelihood with fishing, and once in 50 years there is like a shark bite and somebody dies because a shark came and bit them. So it's actually not a big deal when you
Yeah.
look at it on that scale. Like once in 50 years somebody dies of a shark bite, it's fine, man, let's just keep fishing. That's what is going to happen.
Yes.
But imagine that technology came around, and all the 1,000 islands got connected, and all the things happening in all the 1,000 islands, the most important things are being broadcasted to all the islanders. There would be one, like let's say, what is 50 years? So 50 years into 365 is 18,250 days. So when you take 1,000 islands, then approximately every 20 days you will see that there is a news of someone dying of a shark bite. Shark came and bit them.
Yeah.
Now the news is shared across 1,000 islands. And imagine
Yes.
what would happen to your brain if every month there is a case or two, and every month there are like 2 cases of people dying from shark bites. Everybody will get afraid, and everybody will not go fishing, because even though practically in one island it happens like once in 50 years, you are thinking that, hey, it's like a common thing that happens, like every month
Yes.
there are like 2 fatalities of shark bites. Let's not do fishing at all, and let's just grow crops within the island. That's what will happen. And negative news has this insane capability of bending reality and changing perception
Yeah.
of people, and that is really harmful. Like news actually can be harmful, and I think more people need to know about that, and people should just stop consuming news. Like read books, have conversations like this with people,
I know.
and, and do some positive things. Like there are so many positive things still available in the world.
So yeah, true.
So I think we should continue this conversation.
Yeah.
If we don't put a hard stop to it, this will keep going on and on.
I know. Lockdown effect.
Yeah, lockdown effect. So I think anyway, so we will probably do a part 2 of this conversation, and probably more parts. Whenever we are bored, we will get on a conversation like this.
Sure.
And if people want to watch it, they can watch it. If not, it's okay. I'm not going to go ahead and email this link to everyone. I'm just going to put it on my YouTube channel and just stay silent about it. But in case people like, then I think we will just have a series of conversations like this generally about the world.
Maybe more structured we can have, and in a more better way. This is just a pilot run. So let's see.
I think this is good enough. I'm not really sure if a structured approach. I mean,
no, it's structured in the sense that we can pick out the topics. Like today, we were like talking about everything. And everything.
I think this conversation itself is an exercise in picking up topics.
Yeah, totally.
We can take like one area out of this and start expanding on that in the future episodes.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So nice having the conversation. I think
to
upload this to YouTube. We have not said anything extremely inappropriate yet.
I guess.
I'm saying yet because we might do it in the future episodes.
Of course. What do you expect out of me? You know me so well. Yeah, but I really tried hard to keep it all down.
Yeah. So if this is down, I think the audience is in for a surprise in future episodes.
I know. If they're actually ready, then I can maybe totally blow it away.
So what should I title this series as? Conversations with Nehal? Because I'm putting it on my channel.
No, this doesn't sound interesting.
Or let's say lockdown banter.
Yeah, lockdown banter or lockdown live conversations or some what do you call it? Or revelations or something you can
or let's call it lockdown life.
Yeah.
It's rhyming. So
yes.
Lockdown life part 1.
Yeah.
Done. Chalo, I will catch you later. And thanks for tuning in. And hi everyone. If you liked this conversation, please go ahead and leave a comment below. And subscribe, click the bell icon, as all the YouTubers say. I didn't usually say that, but I think now I will also start saying that.
Please subscribe.
Yeah, please subscribe. Chalo, bye.
Bye.